Good afternoon, it's 1 p.m. and this is the 41st of 53 consecutive 5-mile walks from the Gresswood Disaster Memorial to the Miners' Rescue and back again. Yesterday we covered a brief history of the Miners' Rescue, which had been in existence since 1913, training mine rescue workers to assist in mining accidents within a 10-mile radius of the town. We heard about the demanding training given to rescue workers and the comradeship that was engendered from working in such challenging environments. For 67 years, the rescue centre performed this function, but with the closure of Bersham Mine in 1986, the building ceased to be used as a centre for mine rescue training. For a short period of time, it became devoted to the training of firemen, until it was no longer used at all, and was later purchased by a local businessman called Neville Dickens. In August 2010, the unthinkable happened. As reported by the Daily Post at the time, Dickens organised a digger to start knocking down the building, causing serious damage to the training gallery to the rear of the building, with significant sections of its wall and roof being destroyed. He and his accomplices were stopped after ex-miners rushed down to the rescue and stood in the way of the JCB, which was bulldozing this listed building of special architectural and historic interest. The demolition work was undertaken without either a safety certificate from the council or listed building consent. In April 2011, Dickens was fined £2,000 in order to pay £1,700 in costs for partially destroying our historic Mines Rescue Centre without permission. In 2014, George Powell purchased the rescue, and the rest, as they say, is history. With his team of volunteers, restoration of this iconic Grade 2 building began, and while there's still plenty of work to do, George and his volunteers have transformed the centre into the special place it is today. Given how close the rescue came to complete demolition, it's the perfect time to return to Mervyn and Sue, who were asked what benefits they'd witnessed with reference to specific unnamed individuals who use the centre to this day.
I noticed there's a gentleman who actually was in the cafe when we walked in with his little dog. I've noticed how he has since he started coming for meals and bringing his dog, he's met up with old people, old friends, and he's meeting up with young people who want to ask him questions, and by God he knows the answers, you know. And people who've come to say, I didn't know it was here, but God, we're coming back. You know, I think it's enlarged a great many people's lives.
I totally agree with Sue. I've come across people, in fact there was one there today that I've known for years. He turned up out the blue about 2 weeks ago in his overalls, and he said to me, I forgot it was here. I don't know how, I forgot it was here, but wow, what have they done? Incredible. And I know for a fact that
the commitment from everybody, I think,
had at one time been a very busy person, and then after having finished work, I think Sue was correct what she said earlier. A lot of people find that when they come out of work through retirement or ill health, because of the present way that things are within the structure, the system and support, the support isn't there. And so they need places like this to go and sit and have a cup of tea and just have a chat with someone. You know? Massive difference. Two brothers,
they come regularly.
Were again turned up about 3 weeks ago, and they just, you know, again, they've gone through some very difficult times. One of them isn't a well man, I know.
And
but it just makes a difference to their day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
Even if it's just for an hour, it makes all the
Absolutely.
difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Massive
I mean, I
difference
have
to their
known,
day.
you know, times where we've double checked on somebody because they always got it on a Monday and they haven't been in.
Yeah.
So we phoned their son.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
they're okay, but you know, we noticed that they're not there.
Yeah.
In one of the first videos created for this challenge, you might remember me showing you the Gresford Industrial Park, which is now home to a small collection of businesses on the site where the Gresford Colliery once stood. The light industry of Simon Boyd Fabrics, RLBS Food Machinery Suppliers, Bender's Paper Cups and Plastipack had replaced the heavy industry which came before it. Following that, you might also recall that I learned that 2 plinths had been laid to mark the exact locations of the main Dennis and Martin shafts on the Bender's Paper Cup site. When I tried to find them, I was unable to enter the site as I wasn't authorised to do so. But yesterday, thanks to the help of Bender's purchasing manager, Alan Burrows, a very pleasant man with an obvious interest and sensitivity to the events surrounding the disaster, I was able to gain access to the site to view the plinths. I don't know where they came from, I don't know who put them there, and I don't know who's responsible for them, although I go into endeavour to find out. I do know, however, it's not the responsibility of Bender's, as they are merely tenants on the land, which is owned by another private interest. As shown in the photographs, there are 2 plinths, set about 50 metres apart, and in truth, they're very underwhelming. It's good that they exist to mark the exact spots of the shafts, albeit you can't access them without seeking permission, but they've become neglected and seemingly forgotten about. I wasn't expecting a full-on visitor experience with gift shops and audio guide, but the plaques which once adorned them have either been stolen or time has eroded any inscriptions that were made. The plinths look tired and are scarred by vegetation. They may only exist to perform the function of marking where the 2 shafts stood, but given the tragic history they represent, these monuments to the past deserve so much more respect than they're currently being given. Every miner who ever descended from these points deserves so much better. This walk was dedicated to Lloyd Reed, Albert Rees, Arthur A. Roberts, Edward Roberts, and Edward C. Roberts.